Ladies and gentlemen at home, if you've worked out what arm pump feels like,
anyone got arm pump? Anyone?
People are reporting a bit of a strange sensation. So 15 minutes of through Q1 for Pecco Bagnaia here. But if you look at some of the people who are in this, like Joan Mir, like Alex, of those four, two of them at least.
Absolutely, and in these conditions, Gavin, it is a lottery. Tear up here with it. It's so difficult.
And that's all the way through to Danilo Petrucci, who's at the back, who you mustn't finish, and everyone out there on the wets. A bit of a mix of wets, though. I've seen some with the soft front and soft rear.
To turn 3, where we saw 19 crashes on that corner yesterday alone.
Could it be a case of
potentially? But the track, just looking at the track already, you'd say going with a medium front is the wrong decision because the track's
Heading up towards the chicane, have a look for any spray coming off the back of the tyres. Little tentative.
That corner, the reality is that is the corner that has caught so many riders out, and your first flying lap, you'll die to that tyre.
Right, normally we do try and guess the two riders about to go through, but you've said it's a lottery.
To risk, this is a session he has to risk because he's got to try and get himself through, so I'll go with Pecco and I'll go with Aleix Espargaro.
Alex Rins, who was of course really strong in this race. This bit looks dry. At that part, and then this is where it is, where you can see the spray coming off the rear. That's up towards the blue S's, up the ride in a different way in certain parts of the track. How hard is that to do?
This is what the riders do, they adapt. So they've had an out lap, they've done one flying lap, this is the end of their second lap. Down the last corner. Is it Alex Marquez? No, it's
Lorenzo Savadori on the Aprilia, who actually
having a crack.
Block to his copybook at the start of this session. It is Suzuki 1 and 2 with 10 minutes to go. Long way to go, don't you?
Yeah, try and get some rhythm. Unless your tyres, because everyone's got a soft rear wet tyre. Got a slightly softer rubber on the left-hand side, which definitely will help him around here because there's not many left-hand corners.
I'm pleased it not being just Jack who's going for it. I think Johan Zarco's ready for it after what he just did in FP4. He was preparing himself for this kind of situation. Aleix Espargaro's gone into the top 2 now, so it's Mir and Espargaro. As might think about a tyre change, getting on a fresh set of wets.
Yeah, exactly. Put a new set of wets in, so it starts to melt. It starts to go like chewing gum, and the bike moves around a lot, and it's the last thing you need. There's only
puddles, wouldn't they?
Yes.
Trying to cool down their tyres as much as possible. It's
hard. He was deep into there, fair to there, and he was deep, and you could see the bike protesting. You could almost see the tyre walking across the track. That was the absolute.
Keep an eye on Alex Marquez. He's also on a decent lap here. Let's not forget his race here 1 year ago, Neil. His first
with his results, really. He's had 1 point scoring finish and 8th place in Portugal.
He was 18th way through and he did so beautifully. Now Aleix Espargaro takes over at the top with just over 5 minutes to go in this session. Aleix sits up. If you're going to stay out there, you don't want to sit up too much here.
No, but you can. Was it Rins by?
It's just with the sun out now, Neil. We are getting to the point where this track is going to dry.
It just changes
almost
like
instantly.
That. Yeah, and that's what.
Not up in the first sector. He'd been improving every single lap, hadn't he? But not on this occasion. Pecco Bagnaia.
Second split is 0.3 down here. He is. Let's try and see what he's doing. Like you say, he's never been a. How many wet races did he say?
He says he's done 6 in his career.
Incredible.
That's what he reckons. Anyway.
Bagnaia's got, Bagnaia's soft front and rear.
Petrucci drops a 10th off, but that could still be enough if he can in the middle of the blue S's and up to the final corner. So still wet tyres has to be the option in this sector. But as we saw in Moto 3 with Andrea Migno, places Mir and he goes up into second place. That'll be a real shot in the arm for the rider who won the French Grand Prix lap.
Right, so Savadori's gone out with a medium front and a medium rear.
Alex Marquez is down. That's the end of his challenge to get into Q2.
Oh, he's looking for a scooter.
But yellow flags at La Chapelle. Possibility of there being yellow flags. We've seen so many crashes this weekend already, Neil. It is a concern. But Petrucci, when he almost won in tricky kinds of conditions.
Right. Yeah, Valentino won that race, if you remember.
Yeah, he was, but so close on so many occasions in tricky conditions, and it's where his size works in his favour somewhere like this.
Yeah, the two go together.
Two facts are related.
That's it. Two facts are related. It's so true.
Now, Luca Marini.
But you might get another lap. You will get another lap in.
Well, it's a 1:44 at the moment. Yeah, I think you're just about right to get 2 laps in, perhaps.
You look at your pit board and it says that you're not through.
Look at the full tower on the left-hand side. Everyone is fast in sector 1.
Yeah. Yes, it's under the yellow flag. You're right.
But is it at the back of the group? we just don't know where he is in relation to the others. However, coming through on the last lap, in fact, only Bastianini and Binder may come a cropper because of the yellow flag.
Gav, look how close it is, the times here.
Coming up to where it's wet, just to where Pecco Bagnaia was heading now.
Bagnaia's not going to do it. Bagnaia's definitely not going to do it.
Chance though for Joan Mir to get in a lap. Will they all get another lap? 20 seconds remaining. Mir goes top, but acts like Marini does go to the top briefly because Savadori's taken over with the Aprilia already, and now it's two Aprilia, best conditions they've had in this session. And I think Aleix there has had enough. I think he's sat up here.
He's done. It's 0.4 of a second up.
So Mir is a 10th up. Rabat, we saw, crashed out. Rins is a 10th up in the first sector.
And so many times over the years, it's going to be the last man across the line. He's going to probably end up being fastest.
Pecco Bagnaia, 3 of track. The blue S's, the Raccordo, where it is still wet. It's all very well being fast in this sector, but where Joan Mir has dropped off in the second sector. It's not going to see Joan Mir through if Bagnaia keeps his lap going.
It's Savador
from Aleix Espargaro, but can Espargaro Aleix hang on? Here we come, final couple of corners. With Bagnaia in front of the line. He only goes for Savadori, takes over at the top. It's Lorenzo Savadori he hasn't got another lap in, and it's his teammate who goes through. If you saw that coming, you are more experts than myself.
Nobody predicted that, I'm going to say that now. Nobody.
We are having a lap time taken away for Enea Bastian, where crashes at the end there, Tito Rabat, Alex Marquez. So, did any of them pass a yellow flag? I didn't see it.
Fine too.
Sets it up beautifully, doesn't it? But look at the names who have missed out there. Aleix Espargaro, last year's winner, Danilo Petrucci, is 17th on the grid, but he's behind Pecco Bagnaia, the championship leader, with Bagnaia leading by 2 points from Fabio Quartararo. But the likes of Maverick Vinales will be Savadori and Luca Marini, who make it through to the qualifying final.
Michael, what Michael is lost for words. That was just extraordinary from both of the rookies, wasn't it?
Yeah, fair play to Lorenzo Savadori to have the crash at the start of the session.
I use that word because he really does. He hits himself, he punches himself in the chest before he gets on the bike. It's all very
for him, but those are the conditions where Jack could literally take 25 points out of his teammate, and then he has that deficit in March. So we're going to keep going through the middle part of the summer and try and understand who our championship favourites are.
And absolutely, every single race is paramount. So far this weekend, the Yamaha's looking good. So are the Ducatis, though. What are we going to get in this one? Cannot wait. Neil, Gav.
Just going through into Q2 on that previous session, we're 20th and 21st on combined times. So in wet tyres, and you can see a few others are also doing a similar kind of thing. And a case of scoping out the track.
Round, these conditions could be as good as it gets. It might have a massive downpour, so you have to push.
My question then, so Petronas have decided to risk it for a biscuit, and why not?
Well,
why not in this situation?
Your question, you might do a couple of steady laps trying to build up, but by then you could have, if you had a wet tyre on, just done a timer time. It's down to luck.
Yeah,
no, that's the truth. It's you get a coin, flip it. I quite like it when it's like this, though. It makes it.
Tina Rossi join each other out on track on slick tyres. We ride on board with Maverick Vinales, who is testing the
wet enough to do a decent lap time. Nakagami's playing it safe by sitting in. That's not a bad idea, but then if it.
You'll have, in Nakagami's case, one bike set wet and one bike set dry. I'm thinking of Lorenzo Savadori early in the session, so he hasn't got a choice. Jack's saying straight away, get me on slicks now. Get out while you can. Into the marshals. Just wanted to point that out.
Well, you don't need to speculate anymore. If Jack's come in, he's dry enough for slicks.
And here, Fabio Quartararo's old team, and you can see how quickly he wants to get out there because
your tyre warmers are off, and all I can see is heat draining, dripping onto the floor.
Although it was turns 1, 2 and 3 that were a bit sketchy on that occasion, this time it looks like it's turned with slicks also. So,
if you're going for anyway, I'm going to go for Miller. I'm just going to get it.
I think in this situation, you have to. It says there on the left-hand side of our screen, Jack Miller on medium wet. I can't believe it. That's what it says on the.
What tyres has he got in? Wets.
Medium wets. Yeah, you can see the stripes down the back of his tyre. So he has done what we said. Get the picture though. Looks fairly dry.
Yeah, and now this is the worst bit. You're breaking into turn 3 and you just hold your breath and play.
Tina Rossi, and you can see already he's making up a quarter of a second in the first sector on Johan Zarco's lap time. You're going to spend these soft tyres in 1 or 2 laps. You're going to have to build up to it like you would in a wet race.
Yeah.
But Rossi said expect there to be rain at some point tomorrow. Well, Rossi is a past master, of course. It's pretty much doing a bike swap as if it were a flag-to-flag race. It wouldn't have been a great changeover if he had have done that. Slightly sketchy, although knee down.
Yeah, fine through there. No,
It's all right.
It's dry now, isn't it? Maybe the last corner.
He got the warning for doing so.
Oh.
That was the warning, wasn't it?
Yeah, you could see that big damp patch. He came off the...
Can still keep going, clean up the tyres, and now he knows. And he was 1.2 up.
Watch this on Miller's 3 seconds.
Isn't he,
Yeah.
Jack, the way he rode through that last sector. This one is going to be our new benchmark, a 1:35.4. In the morning practice, he did a 38 on slicks on a damp track. He's just gone nearly 3 seconds quicker. Savadori goes 4th, Marquez 5th, Nakagami in 6th. But it's Miller, Espargaro, Quartararo. Jack isn't on medium wet tyres, as it says on that graph.
Around the edge of the tyres.
Just if anyone saw that, that's an error, obviously, in the graphics. They get picked up automatically by saying the Shimano Burf S's. He's riding as if it's a fully dry track. This is when he's at his absolute best. He's
Still worried about that last corner.
Yeah.
Just in between. We're coming up to it now. Just in between the corners. If he uses a lot of curb on the exit.
warning meant he was 10 seconds slower on that lap. Jack goes even quicker. So Miller, a 1:34.374. Fine, with 6 minutes to go. Gap between them, quarter of a second from Miller to Espargaro. Kagami, who's into 4th, and Marquez into 5th. Savadori into 6th. Will go quicker.
Yeah, Miller has done. And Espargaro, you're right, Gav. 33.1. That's a decent lap time in these conditions.
On this occasion, but it's just going to get quicker and quicker as this session goes on. Marc Marquez is on a really good lap time here. Nice and easy does it. Taka Nakagami into 4th, Savadori into 6th. So Zarco a moment ago was top. He's now down in 5th. Not for a while.
Yeah, well, since Pedrosa retired.
You'd have thought so. Bear in mind how well it went for. So, Marc Marquez not too far off through the first sector. This is where we'll see how much risk he's willing to take. Well, we saw
One red indicator now on the screen, and it is Marc Marquez. You can see he's gone through the halfway point, and he's just about a 10th.
us go at it, or is he trying to just take some heat out of the tyres?
I think you're right with taking the heat out of the tyre. The left-hand side, you make sure you work it on the left-hand corners, but on the right-hand side, just be gentle to it.
Well, they haven't seen him for a while. Right, Marc Marquez into the final Raccordabout section.
Right.
That Julian can't watch.
Yeah, you can't blame it.
And it's a Honda 1, 2, 3 with Marquez, Nakagami and Paul Espargaro.
And Nakagami's got some good, decent track.
Wow, this is turning into a brilliant day of qualifying. Yellow
Yellow
flags
flags
are out on the circuit for that crash for Miguel Oliveira. Like that's where the yellow flag is being shown. We haven't got any indication here in the commentary booth of where that would be. Jack Miller has rolled off again on this lap. In fact, nobody is pushing. They're all saving it, aren't they? So Zarco stays in 6th place. Lap time taken away from Maverick Vinales for exceeding track limits. The top there, Marc Marquez riding the white line. That was
Bizarre, wasn't it? It was right on the edge. Pretty much.
A lot of riders have just gone through, may get 2 more goes at it, but we will see. I think we saw them all go at it, but he sits pretty in pole position. Can it be the first pole for Marc Marquez since 2019?
And these three have...
So that's Miller. Miller's 2 seconds off.
Yeah.
I reckon his tyres have gone, because the last 3 laps...
You can see on the lens.
Oh my
like,
goodness.
That is it.
I don't believe it. It has happened, hasn't it? Where we said this track will change 1, 2, 3 in MotoGP, and it could well be that Mark could be on the front row. Remember, he started from pole position back at Aragon last year. It's sunny in this part of track. It's raining at 2019.
Wow. That seems like a long time ago, because it was a long time ago.
I think we were at the racetrack.
There's a few who've got 1 more lap to go.
There is. And Maverick Vinales has just gone through the first sector.
No way!
Now this is where it's protesting into garage there. Zarco's dropped off. It might not be an all Honda front row.
It's definitely not going to be by the...
No. The Le Mans circuit is changing minute by minute.
And catching even the commentators out. But it's not going to affect this man, who is going to take pole position, it looks like, from nowhere.
Pole position, and he does. A 1:36, a 1:32.681 from Maverick Vinales. Is it pole? Is on pole position pace, but it could be a Frenchman on pole for the 2nd year in a row.
It's going to
comes
be
Fabio Quartararo, the Yamaha.
Jack Miller 3rd over the line. What a qualifying session. Best Honda is down in 6th place.
I mean,
unbelievable.
Changing by the second, wasn't it? And well done for Maverick Vinales, who You know, in these tricky conditions, isn't always one who pulls something out of the surgery down in Aix-en-Provence, his hometown. Diego Gabellini, his crew chief, celebrates, and for the second year in.
One thing worth noting is going to be interesting. There's big question marks if you can use the start devices, because it's not the start device will stay engaged, and basically the bike won't want to turn around there. So why I'm telling you this is potentially what you're doing. Yeah, the Yamahas who aren't normally good off the line might not be at as big a disadvantage because
the race. Imagine this is happening when the lights are about to go on.
And you're sat in pole position.
Miller will use it. The way he talked about it in the pre-event press conference. Well, we thought Marc Marquez was going to be on pole position, didn't we, Paulie?
There's Paul. Oh, that went. Oh, do you know what that was? The damp patch under the bridge, Gav. I spotted it earlier on.
Here at Le Mans.
Well, I'm pleased for Maverick.
Yeah, I am. That's pulling something out of.
Is this his moment near the end where he has a bit of a slide here?
Patch, and your bike gets squirrely and. Well, you've got to be pleased to find their best pals, and they hang out all the time. He puts the thumb to the chin, and anyone who's spent any time in Europe knows that means.
Superb stuff. France will be on their feet, Michael, with that. What a performance from the young Frenchman.
Yeah, pulled it out of the back.